I'm Jake here to do a special video for the end of 2019 and looking back at what's occurred both in my life, on the channel here, and give a big thank you for all of those out there who have supported the channel in even the smallest way. Because here at the end of the year, it's quite a bit bigger than it was at the start of the year. And I do owe that 100% to everybody who's out there staring back at me through that camera lens. And I will do a separate video on what I have planned for 2020, and it'll be like a week from now once the year is actually underway. But this video will be a look back on what was a roller coaster of a year for me in more ways than one. But I want to also touch on specific blasters, and towards the end I will name a few that I think are my favorites and a few that are horrible flops that should be shunned from existence maybe. But just joking on that, but we'll get to that towards the last half of the video. To start out with, I want to thank everybody who has been here, has stuck around, or who has just joined in the little community here of my channel here on YouTube and elsewhere, because I do actually post fairly frequently on Facebook, and I do even upload links from my videos to Twitter. I don't share that much, but hey, I do have it. It's there. But moving on, I wanted to thank a few people up front and give them special mention. Number one, I want to thank Ryan Ingolstad for all the blasters he's sent, all the support he's shown to the channel, to me directly in our conversations, because he's somebody who I've had a lot of conversations with on Facebook at all times of the day, due to both of our work schedules, and he's sent so many blasters, and he has inside knowledge of something that's going to be coming up that I will for now keep to myself. But nevertheless, he has donated a lot of blasters that are going to be put to use, and again, he knows what I'm talking about. And also want to thank Homely665, who's also Patrick. He actually doesn't live that far away from me, and he was going to start up a group, and I do want to get down there and help him out with that if I possibly can, but again, that's more for future. I'm wanting to thank him. He was the very first patron that I had, and he has put in, now it's added up to be a decent amount, and of course he's almost on every single video down in the comment section talking with me about the video topic, whatever that might have been. And that's very nice to have support like that, always there at all times. And the fact that he does that with all kinds of channels, like all kinds of channels, and he's even on the Discord server that Wacom started. He's on there as one of the moderators, or I think he's a moderator. I'm on there now, but it's pretty nice to see that he's just basically everywhere, and he helps out the community a lot. So I'm thinking not just for myself, but I'm thinking for the whole community as a whole. Homely does a ton overall for everybody. And David Bolak actually joined in on my Patreon. That happened like halfway through the year, and his support along with Homely's has actually funded a couple of videos. The funds that I had from Patreon actually went towards paying for a big part of my Orange ModWorks kit that I installed in the Clear Nerf Strong Arm. I just did that video not that long ago, and that was mostly funded by Patreon funds. And also the two of them combined together to help get my next shipment of brass, which is going to help for future videos. So I want to thank Ryan Ingolstad, Homely, and David Bolak. Those three guys have helped quite a bit. And David also is the one who sent me my very first Revolution. I couldn't get the Busby Revolution here at all, and he sent me one so I could actually get that review done. So wanted to thank him for that in particular. That actually turned out to be a very, very big gift. And I did stumble into a second one at my local Rose's later, just sitting on a shelf by itself, the only one in the whole store. So random chance, I have two of them now. But David got me the first one about a month before I found the second one. But also wanted to thank everybody who helped me when I was injured. I still do have the scarring, and like even there, just there, I touched my left arm. The fact is, I probably have permanent damage there. Nothing that'll prevent me from using my arm, but at times my arm has burning and tingling sensations due to nerve damage, and the doctors did tell me that was probably permanent. They said there's a chance that it could go away, but it's most likely there permanently. Sometimes my hand will just randomly twitch on its own and even spasm. That's something I can't control, and that's just nerves firing when they really shouldn't, and muscles contracting when they shouldn't. And that's just something I'll have to deal with. But I can probably override it in time. But sometimes I don't have feeling in my arm at all from the elbow up. Other times it's ultra sensitive. It's just kind of nerves misfiring which way, that way. They can't explain it. They don't really know. They can't tell you if it's going to get better. They tell you the worst case scenario. Expect it to just be there permanently. So we'll say expect the worst, hope for the best. But during the time when I was injured, I do want to thank every single one of you who contributed. I had it all laid out in my mind what I was going to say, but I was suggested by somebody on Facebook to start up a GoFundMe. I did at their suggestion, and you guys helped me out quite a bit with a number of things that came up, some expenses, even paying for time that money actually went for when I took a half day off a couple times to go and get to the doctors to make sure I got to my appointments. That helped make up the money I lost because the sick time or injury time wasn't paid at work. It's not. They don't have that. But it helped more than you'd realize. And anybody who bought a blaster that I sold, that also helped. Adam Markle, he just bought the last one. It shipped out. I didn't get to it instantly. I had hoped to, but he just bought a AccuTrooper off of me, and even something like that helps out. And I want to thank everybody through the whole year, not just when I was injured, but everybody who supported me, whether it was you watched a video, you gave it a thumbs up, or a thumbs down. Which, going back in the year, if you thumbs down a video, not just my own, let's just say anywhere on YouTube, if you thumbs down a video, make sure you let the content creator know why. I mean, yeah, there's always going to be people who just click a thumbs down and just do it because whatever reason. But if you have a genuine reason, I at least, if you have a reason to thumbs down one of my videos, let me know. If I have made a bad video, tell me so. I will definitely listen to constructive feedback. That's just looking back on the year. I don't have any examples I'm thinking of in particular, but if you do, just say so in the comment section. But speaking of comment section, all of you fantastic viewers who are commenting on almost every single one of my videos, you guys know who you are. But a couple of them that come to mind that I also want to thank was D-Ben. He actually sent me a blaster as well. Brian from the Blaster Hub, he sent me a blaster this past year, and those turned out to be some very, very fun ones. The one that D-Ben sent me was the new recoloring, reaching forward to grab it, of the Reaper. I'm glad that he sent one. This is not the one he sent. This is the second one I got. This one came from Patrick, or not Patrick. Still thinking of Homely there. This one came from Pirate Johnson. He handed me this one in person because it turns out he only lives like 45 minutes away. So he showed up and I got a second one of these, which is awesome. I absolutely love this color. It's my favorite on the Reaper, and the Reaper is one of my favorite all-time blasters. But you guys that do that, and D-Ben, he sent one of the same blasters, and Brian from Blaster Hub, he sent me the Power Mech. It's like all that is just touching. It's fantastic to get that kind of support as a little channel growing in the community, and I want to give everybody a sincere thank you. I mean, all of you guys that comment on all the videos, you guys know who you are. I would have to start a whole list, and I may even sit down and put it in a pinned comment as a sincere thank you to all of you, just go through all of the lists and thank you guys in a long pinned comment. That would probably be the best thing I could do without sitting here with a list in front of me like I did once before. But I'll probably do that. That just hit me off the top of my head, but I'll probably do that. But just looking back, it's touching to see that my channel grew. Been doing it since 2013, and really got heavy into the Nerf things just a few years ago. Like, I think 2 years ago, or three at this point. Yeah, 2016 was when I really stopped putting other content on this channel and focused solely on the Nerf stuff that I was enjoying already. Because, hey, I've loved Nerf since I was a kid. And now it's like, oh, I'm still a kid. I just have a larger digit next to my age, is all. That's how I describe it. But going back on the year, it's like this channel's grown, and it's all thanks to every one of you who are watching the videos and commenting and everything that you do. If you ever share a video elsewhere, which I do appreciate when you guys do that. Like, I've seen a few people reshare my videos on groups on Facebook, and then I found out that Homely and Pirate Johnson, they're resharing it on Wallcom's Discord server, and so I said, okay. And they asked me to join up, so I said, so I did. And when I found out they'd been doing that, it's like, that was touching, and that was really, really nice of them. So my main goal would be to, now I've got to live up to that. If you guys are gonna be that supportive and that kind, looking forward, I've got to live up to doing the best I can. And that's for my next video on this discussion style. But looking back, I wanted to get to the last half of the video after I did all the thinking and just reflection of trying to get through a turbulent year where things were up and down. I didn't get to go to very many events, or hardly any at all, because first part of the year it was all work, no play. Second half of the year, things just didn't work out. And I'll just leave it that way. Between injuries and finances, it just didn't work out. But I'm not going to dwell on negative. I'm going to look forward to it turning around, because it can only get better. That's what I'm going to leave that with. But getting on to something I wanted to do in this video. Looking back on the blasters that I've reviewed and picking a few favorites, and then also looking at the ones that I absolutely have no reason to recommend at all. But starting with a few honorable mentions. A couple of recolors. One from Nerf, one from Busby, that I absolutely love, that I got my hands on in 2019. The new clear strong arm, which I'm looking at it over on my workbench. You guys seen me upgrade it. I did a review on it, and then I did an upgrade video installing the newest Orange ModWorks kit in it. That is a really, really nice reshelling of a popular, well-known blaster. And Nerf did a good job with that shell. The clear version, I think the paint and colors all look better. It looks neat. I'm a sucker for clear shells anyways, so I love that. And the fact that they didn't overprice it at all. It's on Amazon, not really priced hardly any at all above the regular strong arm. And that's how it should be. I think it's like $2 more, maybe $3. That's how a reshell should be, just a fractional upcharge, not a double charge. I love the Nerf Recon Mark II. However, the new version, it's got the Elite colors instead of the Modulus colors. They call it a CQB. Whatever it is. It's a Kohl's exclusive for $40. The Recon Mark II was a $20 blaster. You don't double charge for blasters. The strong arm reshells are good. It's the same strong arm we know and love with some really nice attractive colors. And I was a sucker for the clear one. Now the Reaper that I was talking about, this came out last year, but I just got my hands on it this year, so I'm putting it in. It's my video. I'll do what I want. This thing is the best looking Reaper I have ever seen. The other color schemes, not as good. This thing looks good, and the Reaper was already a fun blaster that is great. So, for me personally, this is probably the best reshell of 2019. And it is just a new color scheme. But I love that color scheme. I already love the Reaper, and that just makes it look better. Now, another Buzzbee blaster, not a reshell, the Agitator. This thing came out and is actually a really, really nice addition to the line. I really like the Thermal Hunter Interceptor shell. This puts a better grip on it, because basically the internals are the same as the Thermal Hunter and Interceptor. Got a front pump grip, not quite as good of a pump grip as on the Thermal Hunter Interceptor, but it's good. It's quite usable. The stock is longer, and that's nicer, but you have to reinforce it because it had a little bit of wobble to it. I've already done the reinforcing on this one, so this one's good to go. This one's already even brassed, and I absolutely love this blaster. It's one of my favorites for 2019, but not near the top just yet. Another Buzzbee blaster, of course this is the one that Brian sent me from the Blaster Hub, the Power Mech. I love this reworking of the Tommy 20 mechanism. It looks updated, it looks nice. It actually is, it's a little short, feels compact, it would be the way to say it, not uncomfortably so. But I love drum fed blasters of any kind, Springer or flywheel. And this one really just hit home with me. I like this quite a bit. And I want to upgrade this, and it's going to be a fun blaster once it's done. So this is definitely one of my favorites for 2019. Glad to see that Buzzbee brought this out. That flywheel blaster, however, is not my favorite for the year. That goes to the Adventure Force V-Twin. This is my favorite flywheel blaster for 2019. And I'm not a flywheel guy, but this thing just did everything right for me personally. The fact that you had Primetime Toys, which they make the blasters for Adventure Force as well as for Dart Zone. That's the two branding that they have. All you have to do is check the packaging or look on here, and let's see, where on this one does it say Primetime? Well, I'm not going to waste too much time, but you can see that it has the Primetime Toys. Oh yeah, PTDZ. That's Primetime Dart Zone. That if you see that PTDZ, you know you got a Primetime Toys or Dart Zone product. But it feels good. It's a mini minigun, but it feels good. It's got a rev trigger, and that just works good. They've redesigned their belt or chain so that it feeds really good. It's got almost like a paddle wheel design that flips the dart out of the chain, and instead of a pusher mech, so it works really smoothly. But I love this thing, and it performs above and beyond what you expect out of a stock Nerf blaster. So it's fun to use, it's comfortable to use, everybody knows how to, and they're familiar with the dual triggers. It's just, Dart Zone did it right, and that's all you can ask for. The most unique blaster of 2019, in my opinion, was the D-Dart Tempest. I love this thing. It's unusual, just flicking it on and having it flip darts out. Now, it did have the issue of it needed darts that were a little short. I solved it by using X-Shot darts. No problem with it firing those, and I've got hundreds of those, so that worked out fine. Now, it's neat, and they just need to expand this a little bit. They go a 1/4 inch longer than you can fire every dart out there. But for a first product from a new company, this was very promising, and I hope to see a lot more from them because I really like this. So that's my favorite new special or unique blaster for 2019. That's the D-Dart Tempest. Now you're thinking, wait a minute, I haven't really mentioned any Nerf blasters I loved. I mean, I like the recoloring or reshelling of the Strong Arm, but I actually turned out to really like the Trilogy. I didn't think I would at first because I was kind of upset about the whole shell issue. I love the Sledgefire. Genuinely, it's one of my all-time favorite blasters. It still will be. I still prefer the Sledgefire overall, taking all things into consideration over the Trilogy, but the Trilogy was a pleasant surprise in the end, in that having a pump action, shell ejecting, Nerf shotgun, turned out that it works pretty good. It jams a couple times, and yeah, I'm still bummed. I think they could have made a way to make this work with the sledge fire, or vice versa, which this would be a topic for a different video. I want to see the sledge fire return and use these now. Hadn't never thought about it before. I want to see the sledge fire come back in the Zombie Strike series. That's where it should be. It's kind of a funky blaster, but compatible with these. If you do it, Hasbro, just send me the check. I'll take credit for it. But the trilogy ended up being better than I expected. When I found out that this was coming out, I was really, really hyped for it. Because it almost looked like, when you first seen it, it almost looked like this was going to be a tube mag. Because, of course, I'm thinking Busby Monorail. Yep. Which is an awesome blaster. One of the best ever made by any company. Personal opinion. Yeah, I know. I'm a Busby homer. But I was thinking, okay, that's going to have a tube mag and they're going to have ripped off the Monorail's design with the tooth-fed conveyor belt style. And it's going to drop in, then it's going to eject a shell out, and it's going to hold like 3 in a row. Okay. No, it just turns out it's a top-loading ejecting one. So, it worked fine though. And at the introductory price of $35, it wasn't outrageously priced. That's about what a Sledgefire cost. Sledgefire was not a cheap blaster itself. You were going to pay $30 or so. And this doesn't really overprice itself compared to that. So it turned out that, well, in stock form, it's got a little bit better range. Still has the 3 dart, burst, and it works really well. Again, sometimes shell doesn't eject if you don't really slam that hard, or sometimes the mechanism simply doesn't flip it out. But it ended up being a very comfortable blaster. They introduced the shell kit shortly after that now allows you to carry on board 8 shells, which is fantastic. Then you buy a few more of these kits, throw them in a dump pouch, carry a couple of dump pouches, have one with your full shells, have one with your empty shells, and that's awesome. It works, it succeeded, and I will give Nerf praise for coming up with a product that actually does what you hoped it would do without being overpriced. Something they're not good at anymore. Setting that aside, moving on to something that delivered, and I've just reviewed it. This Double Fire delivered above and beyond any of my expectations. And I was pretty hyped for it to begin with. This thing is my number 2 favorite blaster of the year. Overall, I am a Springer guy, I am a shotgun guy, I am a Busby guy. That's right. Busby, shotgun, Springer. I love all 3 things. Particularly when they come together into a package like this that's fun, usable, and dirt cheap at $10. Yeah, so literally for the price of a burger, a side, and a drink, and not much, doesn't cost much more than that. And instead of being flushed a few hours later, you get to have fun with this for a long, long time. This Double Fire took one of my favorite long-term blasters. I love the old Busby Double Shot. I really did. I still do. This doesn't really take the place of it in my mind, but marketing-wise and design-wise, it is the successor to it. You just simply hit the little lever, pop this open, load it up, and just like the Double Shot, 2-stage trigger, just go pow pow. Fun blaster, $10, exactly where the pricing should be on this thing. Came with a little ammo holder on the side that works really well. And it's just, I have no complaints with it. My only complaint was Walmart. Walmart was terrible. It was a horrible experience dealing with the pickup, because Walmart did the weird thing of making this only available for pickup for the longest time. And their pickup service was horrendous. It took me 2 weeks in the end to finally get my hands on one of these, and I just randomly found it on the shelf at my local Walmart after ordering it multiple times and getting treated very rudely and they kept trying to give me an Alpha Rogue, which fine little bolt action rifle, but this thing's not an Alpha Rogue. I love this way more, and it easily made it to my number 2 spot as my favorite one of my favorite blasters for 2019. Setting that aside, my favorite blaster of the year was sitting right here beside me the entire time. The Busby Revolution. Now, you can also include in the Busby Adventure Force Model 1902. That's available only in the 2-pack Arsenal package through Walmart. But if you want to buy just this, you can get these at Ross's and other places. This is a amazing mag-fed pistol. It's a top prime Springer that accepts, like I'm showing here with the drum, it accepts every single magazine out there on the market that's for full-length darts. And this thing carries the same plunger tube as all the other, except for the snipe, all the other mag-fed primary style blasters from Busby that are currently made. It accepts the same modifications, gets the same very good performance, actually higher performance. This currently, aside from the snipe, is the highest performing Busby blaster currently made. Both of mine that I got. This one came from David Bolak, and I got a second one that I've already modified and already put the video out. These blasters are hitting all the way up in the middle to upper 80s and even over 90s depending on the dart you use. And all I can say is that the O-rings that these are being sold with have a better seal to the plunger tube. That's the only explanation I can come up with. The breech and the plunger tube, the plunger rod, all that, and the air restrictors, all the same design as, say, the Reaper, the Interceptor, the Thermal Hunter, the Agitator, the Frantic Fury, and all of those fire in the lower 80s. This thing, both examples are hitting the upper 80s to around 90, and that's fantastic. I hope that continues. If it's just simply improved seal quality, fantastic, because this thing is an under $10 blaster that outperforms every Springer that Nerf's got out there right now, and does it, it's not even close. And the biggest upgrade, and the reason why I say this is absolutely the best mag-fed top prime Springer that Busby's put out, is this right here. That grip is amazingly comfortable. This is better than a lot of Nerf grips. And that's something that Nerf does well, is the grips. This is better than most Nerf grips. That curvature at the back of the grip just tucks into your palm just perfectly. The finger indentions, I have an XL to double XL size glove that I normally wear, and my hand fits that just right. And the top prime, comfy. The trigger pull is good, which Busby normally has a nice crisp trigger pull. But everything about this, the color scheme, the cleanness of the design, this is spot on. Everything about it is just perfect. This is the best mag-fed pistol that Busby's ever made. And that says a lot, because they've made a lot of good mag-fed pistols. So, best blaster of 2019. I don't even have a hesitation in that. Let's talk about the worst ones. We're going to name all of them for one single company. Nerf. Nerf has made, in my opinion, a couple of very popular hits the year. For me personally, the Trilogy was the best one that they made. That's my personal taste. Everybody loves the Persis. Or Perses? Yeah, Perses. It's Greek mythology name, so yeah, it would be pronounced Perses. Everybody loves that. Everybody's over the hill with that. The Knockout, that one's good. I actually will give them credit on that. So that's 3. Everybody loves the Persis, or Perses, yeah, Perses, the Knockout, and the Trilogy. I'm going to give them those. Oh, and the Evader. That's also another good one that they introduced. Now we've built them up a little bit, now let's absolutely smash them down. The Nerf Ruckus, terrible. That's garbage. That thing, if you've seen my videos on it, it had terrible performance when stock. It was overpriced at $20 when its closest competitor was the Busby Jaguar for $6 or $7 depending on where you bought it. That outperformed it, was easier to use, and much smaller. And that does matter. In a little pistol, if a little pistol outperforms the bigger one and is smoother and more powerful just all around, and you can almost buy 3 of them for the price of one, that expensive one doesn't look so good. So the Nerf Ruckus, there was no point into it. And when you try to mod it, the bolt sled was very fragile, and mine just literally exploded and shattered on the inside. So the no, plunger rod, not the bolt sled. The plunger rod, it just sheared completely apart, and the springs went flying. It's hilariously bad, hilariously over-engineered internally as well. A lot going on inside that blaster. The Mega Thunderhawk, also rated very high on the failure scale. That thing had no redeeming feature either, other than if you go into modding it. And modding can save a lot, so I don't factor that in. But stock, the thing had terrible power. My Centurion outperforms it. That says a lot right there. It had multiple misfires, multiple jams. The sideways clip would sometimes, if you're running, which I do a lot of running in my playstyle, if you do run, the front piece would come forward, the clip would slide if you accidentally bumped it, or even just the jarring from running with it would make it move a little bit one way or the other. So you'd go to fire and it'd either dry fire or it would half fire the dart because the clip had shifted to the side a little bit. And when it first came out, when I bought mine, it was expensive. Now they're on sale everywhere, probably because they're hard to sell. But the whole front feature was useless. Just, it was a marketing attempt. If you extended it out, it made it the longest Nerf blaster. Just over-engineering for over-engineering reasons, for just marketing hype. And the bipod was mounted in a useless spot. The bipod needed to be in the front, because you extend the front piece out, it just flops the blaster over. And if you had it set up on like a storage container as a bunker, if you had the front piece out, it'd flop the blaster completely out into nowhere. And of course, the biggest failure of the entire year rests squarely on Hasbro's shoulders with the Nerf Ultra Terrible line. I'm sorry, the Nerf Horrible one. Wait, that's not right. The Nerf Horribly Terrible one. Still not quite right. Okay, I'll quit. The Nerf Ultra one. The worst thing is not the actual blaster itself. The blaster itself would be fine just to put out there to the marketplace and let people decide whether they want it or not. New ammo type. Not even mad about that. The marketing kills it. Saying that it's the highest performing blaster on the market that they've ever made. 120 feet. Yeah, they can put a little asterisk next to that range claim and say that at maximum up to, and not listed as a hard average, but listed as negative 0.000001%. Yeah, I said negative percent, I know. But 0.000001% of shots ever fired will reach that 120 feet. That's if a bird flying by thinks that it's a bug in the air, grabs it, snatches it out of the air as you're doing your range test, flies another 80 feet with it, and drops it because it realizes it's a worthless dart. And then it went 120 feet. Okay, I can picture that happening. But outside of that, it doesn't even hit elite ranges for the most part. It's just another flywheel blaster with a drum feed that looks kind of nice. And that's how it should have been marketed. You know, new ammo type. Try it. Try it for yourself. See what you think. That's how Hasbro should have marketed it, but they're going for a cash grab. And when it doesn't even perform up to about 50% of its claim ranges, I don't like that. Busby will throw 100 feet range claim on their blasters, and they actually will hit it. I've proven it over and over. Busby's range claims are genuinely accurate. I can put an interceptor at a 45-degree angle, fire off 40 shots, and I guarantee you at least a few of them will actually hit the 100-foot mark on my measuring tape. I've done it over and over and over. They will hit their claims. Nerf never does, or rarely, if ever, does. And the Ultra one's the worst example of that ever. They claim 120 foot, and that's what people see. They'll see that Oh, this Elite one over here claims 90. This one claims 120. My kid will have fun with this because it shoots farther. No, it doesn't. And then you got darts that cost 50 cents each. You pay 10 bucks to get 20 of them. Everybody else is selling them for pennies compared to that. And it's just, that doesn't sit well with me in any way, shape, or form. I may still in the end buy one if I find it on clearance, just for me to tinker with. And that's all it's going to be good for, and if they don't come out with something to salvage the line, that's going to disappear pretty fast. But that's why it's the worst blaster of the year. Best blaster of the year is right here. Claims 100-foot range. Actually hits 100-foot range. Yeah, you might have to shoot 40 shots, and that's fine. You put 40 shots at a 45-degree angle, a couple of them are going to hit 100 feet. That's a reasonable range claim. I've actually hit the 100-foot my own self in my backyard. Okay, that's honest. And Busby put this out for 10 bucks or under. One of them was $7.99 that I believe that's what David Bullock paid for this, and then I found one for 10 bucks at my local Rose's, only one in the entire store. Don't know how they got it. They don't even know how they got it, but 10 bucks or 8, and actually lives up to the hype, which there was no hype other than for me because I'm Busby crazy. That's how blasters should be made. Actually meet what they say when they claim it on the box, not firing it maybe half of their claim. But that's looking back at the year in general. My first part of the video was a big thank you, and the last part was just going over some blasters that caught my eye for better or for worse. This is Mongoose Jake, hoping that you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.